I gained over 800 iRating in 1 week by changing one simple thing. In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly what happened during the week and what I had to change. Let's get into it. The main thing I focus on when I want to gain iRating is practicing at least a week before the races. And trust me, it helps a ton. Because I already put the practice in, I came into the week with high expectations. For the first qualifying session, I only pushed about 80% of my maximum pace. The goal was simple: avoid mistakes and start the week clean. That was enough for P3 on the grid. But the driver on pole surprised me. He qualified 6/10 faster than I did. So I knew I was going to have to put my head down and try to keep up. When the race had started, I realized that the pole sitter was an esports driver, Landon Loy. The start was pretty clean until turn 2, where I made slight contact with the Cadillac ahead of me. But no hard feelings, we worked it out after. Eventually, the driver in P2 spun, and I was able to pass both cars at the same time. That wrapped up race 1. Race 2 started with another 80% qualifying effort. Which put me in P3 again. Not a bad place to start. I stayed close to the leaders off the line, but unfortunately couldn't make the move into turn 3. Then things got interesting. A faster driver in P4 was trying to pass me. For some reason, I completely forgot that I couldn't move with the braking in the rules. That was probably top 10 dumbest things I've ever done, and definitely not my smartest moment ever. We both ended up spinning, although surprisingly, our cars weren't too damaged. Unfortunately, after the spin, he drove straight into me, which caused me even more damage. To avoid taking a tow, I reversed all the way back to the pits. Once the car was partially repaired, and I mean literally partially repaired, because the front end was basically gone, I went out and somehow dragged it back home to P10 with only losing about 35 iRating. Now let's talk about race 4. This was one of the most stacked races of the entire week. I pushed 100% in qualifying because I knew a strong qualifying would be a good determining starting position for the race.
Doing up things, life is a boxing match, it stings. Public lynching, private wins. Don't need their little approval. Do my thing, it's just you when you're in that ring. Don't listen to what they say or sing. Standing by me, I gotta be a king if my mind is out. Can't fit in if the mind is out, then it can't be. You don't know me, get work, trying to get in. So it's like straight up, does it says on the tin that back to the future, I know where I've been.
On pole was an 8,000 iRating driver with a ton of experience, and he was still 3/10 faster than me. Starting P2 was Arnav Singh, who I used to kart with. I qualified P3, Landon Lloyd, that esports driver, was in P4, my F4 coach Cole Hewitson starting P6, and my friend Wesley Daniels in the back. We actually convinced Wesley to race that split, so thanks Wesley. The race started with everyone packed together. Unfortunately, I carried way more speed than Landon into turn 3 on lap 1. I overestimated his speed, spun out, and I was in last. I started picking off cars one by one. I tried making a move on an Acura, and he defended like he was Lewis Hamilton fighting for the 2021 championship. Eventually, I got by him. Then another car, then another. At one point, Wesley was 5 seconds ahead, but he had spun in the final corner. Not ideal for him. But it gave me a chance to gain more positions, but it did not. Basically, what happened is I was trying to move out of the Wesley's way, and I got stuck into the grass, and I lost 2 positions. But that's fine. Soon, my sights were set on P6 after I had passed them back again. The gap was huge at first. But by the final lap, I had closed right in. I went for a move down the inside. It was so far that I really felt bad about it after the race. Thankfully, I apologized and he was okay with me after, so everything was cool. Moving on, race 6 was much cleaner. I qualified on pole and won over 30 seconds. Now let's get into the real reason why I gained so much iRating that week. My biggest problem was that always wanting to win every single race. Wanting to win isn't bad. The bigger problem is making overly aggressive moves to get that win, especially against drivers who are just as aggressive. When you put two aggressive drivers together, you usually get one thing, a crash. I finally learned that it's okay to finish P5. It's okay to take the points and the iRating. Not every race has to be won. Race 7 was a fun one. I qualified P4 and immediately gained 2 positions on the opening lap. After that, I set my sights on P2. I couldn't make the move stick into the first corner, but eventually I got it done on the final corner of the race to secure to P2. Race 8 was the second to last race of the week. I qualified P2, but my friend Cedric Holblum got past me. Unfortunately, I later took him out, which I felt terrible about. We talked it through afterwards and worked everything out. From there, my focus shifted to simply holding P2. That's exactly what I did. Finally, race 9 and the final race of the week. The last race of the week put me in a low strength of field split, which allowed me to control the race from the front and drive away with the win super easy. By the end of the week, I had gained over 800 iRating and crossed the line with a 4,000 iRating mark. More importantly, it proved something to me. It showed me that I have the pace to reach 6,000 iRating if I truly locked in and put my head down and just grinded more to get iRating. And race smarter and stop forcing unnecessary moves. And trust me, that's exactly what I'm going to do.